Attention passionate San Francisco 49ers fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC West and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on San Francisco 49ers' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true San Francisco 49ers fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and San Francisco 49ers fans. Let's get to the news. Now, guys, this is one of those moments that just make your head turn, right? Rumors swirling, sources talking about a potential blockbuster trade that could shake up the NFC West, and honestly, the entire NFC playoff picture. And when you hear the name T. Higgins involved, you know it's serious. The Cincinnati Bengals, currently holding a 3-3 record, are reportedly open to trading their star wide receiver, T. Higgins, to the San Francisco 49ers. Now, this isn't just a random rumor. It's coming from some pretty credible sources, with Diana Rossini leading the charge. According to her, there's serious talk about a conditional second-round pick in 2026, plus a player, specifically wide receiver Danny Gray, being part of the deal. And folks, this is huge. Let's break down why. First, let's talk about T. Higgins himself. He's a guy who, at just 26 years old, has already made a name for himself in Cincinnati. Coming out of Clemson, Higgins has shown flashes of being a true number one receiver, 6'4", 219 pounds, with a skill set that combines size, speed, and the ability to make contested catches look effortless. In 2025, he hauled in 24 receptions for 348 yards on just 42 targets, averaging an impressive 5 yards per catch and posting 3 touchdowns. His PFF grade last season was around 76.8, placing him solidly in the top 45 wide receivers nationally. He's a real deep threat, with a deep conversion rate of over 48%, and he's also quite effective in the red zone, catching 5 touchdowns per game in 2024, which is a huge asset for any offense. And this season, even with some injury issues, like the quad injury that kept him out for a few games, Higgins has proven to be reliable and consistent. He's someone who can stretch defenses vertically, and his contested catch rate of over 51% is among the best in the league. The Bengals, despite their ups and downs, are clearly in a bit of a seller mode. They're sitting at a mediocre 3-3, and with Jamar Chase dealing with a shoulder injury that's expected to keep him out for about 4 weeks, Cincinnati could be looking to rebuild or at least retool their roster. Plus, with Joe Burrow's rating sitting at 94. 2, there's still untapped potential there, but the team might be looking to get some value for Higgins before his contract situation becomes a bigger issue. Now, from the 49ers side, this is exactly the type of move that could push them over the edge. San Francisco has been a powerhouse this season, sitting at 4-2 and having one of the most potent offenses in the league. But they've also faced some injury setbacks, especially in the wide receiver room. Brandon Ayuk has been on the PUP list due to a lingering hamstring injury. Jacob Cowing has been out with an ankle injury. And Deebo Samuel, while explosive, has had his moments where he's been somewhat isolated in the offense, despite his huge yardage total of 412 yards. The addition of Higgins would give Brock Purdy a true alpha receiver, a guy who can win contested catches, stretch the field, and operate effectively in the red zone. Higgins, if acquired, would slot in as the WR2 behind Samuel, providing that deep threat and big play capability that the 49ers have been trying to develop more consistently. His presence in the offense could elevate Purdy's efficiency, boosting the amount of explosive plays, increasing yards per game, and improving red zone conversions. The 49ers have been working on their red zone efficiency, now averaging around 2 touchdowns per game, up from previous weeks but still room for growth. Higgins' ability to win in tight coverage and his 57.1% catch rate make him a perfect fit for Kyle Shanahan's offensive scheme, which relies heavily on precision, timing, and yards after catch. But it's not just about the immediate impact. Adding Higgins could have a ripple effect across the entire team. His presence would force defenses to respect the deep ball more, opening up underneath routes for guys like Jennings and even Deebo Samuel. Purdy's deep accuracy, which has been impressive at around 42%, could see a further uptick as Higgins' size and contested catchability provide an even bigger target for those deep throws. And with the 49ers, offense averaging over 248 yards per game through the air, an increase of about 14%. the team's aerial attack would be even more potent. This would make the 49ers not just a balanced team, but an unstoppable one when everything clicks. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YOUTUBE algorithm to keep recommending the latest San Francisco 49ers news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. Now, considering the potential trade, there are some strategic reasons why this move could make sense for both sides. For Cincinnati, moving Higgins could open up cap space, around $14 million according to some reports, helping them address other needs, particularly on the offensive line, which has struggled in pass protection, allowing 25 sacks according to PFF grades. Gray, meanwhile, is a depth piece for the 49ers, with just 12 receptions for 148 yards this season, but he's a young player with potential, and adding him as part of the package could be a way for Cincinnati to get some youth and depth. For San Francisco, this is about making a statement. They're in a strong position to contend, but adding a top-tier receiver like Higgins would solidify their status as Super Bowl favorites. Their odds to win the championship have already improved, moving from around plus 2,500 to plus 1,500, reflecting the confidence in this roster. Higgins' ability to perform in high-pressure situations, especially in the playoffs, is well documented. His postseason production has been notable with 1 targets per game in the playoffs, and his YAC stats, over 22%, show that he's a big play threat with the ball in his hands. If he joins the 49ers, he could be a true X-factor, especially in big games, helping elevate their chances of not just making it back to the Super Bowl, but winning it once again. And let's not forget the broader picture here. The 49ers' defense has been solid, even with Bosa on IR and Warner dealing with a shoulder injury. Their sack numbers have dipped slightly but are still formidable, and their run defense, allowing around 112 yards per game, is middle of the pack, but with some improvements, they could become even more dominant. Adding Higgins might take some pressure off the defense, allowing them to play more aggressively, knowing that the offense can keep pace and score in bunches. Looking ahead, the impact of this potential trade extends into the NFC playoff picture. The 49ers are already seen as one of the top contenders, but with Higgins in the fold, their offense could transform into an even more lethal weapon. The matchup nightmares he could create for opposing defenses would be endless. Teams would have to account for Deebo Samuel's explosive plays, Brandon Ayuk's versatility, and now Higgins' size and contested catch ability. It's a nightmare scenario for defenses trying to slow down this offense. This move could propel the 49ers to an even higher level, making them serious favorites to not only reach the Super Bowl, but to potentially dominate once they get there. And then there's the playoff factor. Higgins has shown he can perform under pressure, and with the playoff stakes rising, his experience and ability to elevate his game could be the difference between a deep run and an early exit. The NFC is competitive, no doubt, with teams like the Eagles, Cowboys, and Lions all vying for supremacy. But the 49ers, with this added weapon, could be the team to beat. Plus, Higgins' presence might even influence other teams' game plans, forcing defenses to dedicate extra resources to contain him, which opens up even more opportunities for the likes of Jennings and other playmakers. Of course, all of this is still in the rumor stage, but the signs point to real momentum behind this potential deal. If it happens, it would be a bold statement by the 49ers, showing their commitment to chasing another Super Bowl. And for Bengals fans, it's a tough pill to swallow, losing a guy like Higgins, who's been such a key part of their offense, especially with Chase recovering from injury. But for Cincinnati, it might be a smart move to get some cap relief and draft assets, especially if they believe they can build around Chase, Burrow, and the young talent coming up. As fans of the 49ers, though, what really matters is how this would elevate our team. Imagine a scenario where Purdy is throwing to a trio of 2 400-yard receivers, Deebo, Brandon, and Higgins. How dangerous that would be. The offense would be a nightmare for defenses, and the confidence boost for Purdy would be enormous. Plus, Higgins' ability to win contested catches and make big plays in critical moments could be the X-factor we've been missing at times this season. It's about stacking the deck, making sure that when playoff time comes, the 49ers are not just good, but nearly unstoppable. And remember, the NFC West itself is also shifting. The Seahawks with Geno Smith have been playing well, and the Rams, despite their ups and downs, are always in the conversation. The addition of a player like Higgins could give the 49ers that extra edge needed to dominate their division once again and set the tone for the postseason. And with the stakes so high, every move, every decision counts. This potential trade is one of those moves that could define the entire season. So as we wait for official confirmation, it's important to remember that in the NFL, things can change rapidly. Rumors can turn into reality, and suddenly a team's trajectory shifts in a matter of days. The 49ers are always aggressive, always looking for ways to improve, and this time might be no different. If they pull off this trade, it's going to be one of those deals talked about for years, a true game changer. The NFC West, the NFC, and the playoffs as a whole could look very different by the time we get to February, and the 49ers could be leading that charge with a new weapon in their arsenal. And now, San Francisco 49ers fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think T. Higgins is the perfect fit for Kyle Shanahan's offense? Are you excited about the potential of this move propelling the team to another Super Bowl? Or do you think Cincinnati might hold on to him, and why? Your opinion matters so much to us and to the San Francisco 49ers. Remember, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest San Francisco 49ers news. This is an exciting time to be a fan, and whatever happens next, one thing is certain. The 49ers are always in the thick of it, and we're here to cover every twist and turn with passion and detail.